Yesterday I posted a video, an old video. I put it in my post, right? I put that video in the post, and this was a year ago, right? And I have videos that I've taken off of my YouTube, over the past 2 years. But I've been saying this before even your guy Trump got into office. I said what was going to happen. I said mass layoffs. I said mass layoffs, joblessness. I said because of economic downturns, and I said because of AI and automation. I said that, and then what was next? I said mass homelessness, right? Mass homelessness, and as we can see, in the middle of an economic downturn, right? In the middle of an economic downturn, the administration is cutting Medicaid, Medicare, housing vouchers, food stamps in the middle of an economic downturn, right? See, I'm all for getting people off the nipple, right? I'm all for that, right? Get people off the nipple, stop people from, just relying on the government, relying on, government to come save them and this, that, and the third, right? I'm all for that. However, right, in the middle of an economic downturn, right, where jobs are laying off people, where people can't even find jobs, I think it's quite despicable, to be honest, right? Like I said, I'm all for getting people off the nipple, but doing that to the American people in the midst of there being no jobs, in the midst of people struggling financially, I think it's kind of despicable, to be honest with you, right? Especially for the younger generation, right? Especially for the younger generation, right? Off the nipple, no Diddy. Shouts out to Young Cartier, right? And googly, yes, it's going to get dangerous because if more and more people listen, I don't care what your faith is and all of that stuff. Listen, when a human being get desperate, they get desperate, right? When people get hungry, they get hungry, right? All morality goes out the door for you moral ass ninjas, right? All morality goes out the door when shit hits the fan, right? America's not a moral country in the first place. We pretend to be moral, right? We pretend to be moral. We don't have any moral authority over the world, and no, right? When shit hits the fan, people are gonna show their true human nature, right? So, because of mass homelessness, because people are getting laid off and people are being unemployed, people are staying unemployed for a longer period of time. We're gonna see rising crime, right? We're gonna see rising crime. We're gonna see rising theft. People are already on edge for a variety of different reasons, whether that be political reasons, right? Whether that be just plain out desperation. People are frustrated. People are hungry, right? People are desperate, right? So people are bound to pop. I'll give it any time now, right? It doesn't take much. Sparta says, bro, it's done on purpose. Once you take God and morals out of society, degeneracy will take its place, right? But I mean, God goes out the door when you get hungry. If you ask me, let's get these likes up. God goes out the door when you get hungry, right? When society starts to decay, all the whole God pill goes straight out the door, right? Oh, civil American, yeah, yes, sir. It's all going according to plan, right? And if you've been watching YouTube lately, there's been many channels popping up on even on my feed. A lot of people talking about how they're getting laid off, how they've been looking for a job for the past 6, 7 months. Some people have been looking for a job since freaking last summer, right? Some people have been looking for the same job since the pandemic, right? People have been looking for jobs for a long time. People have been laid off. Some people have been laid off for a whole year at this point, right? I know people who've been doing food delivery, Uber Eats and all of that stuff for a whole freaking year, right? not being able to find a proper job. And we're talking about from the highest of the highest end. So we're talking about software engineers who've had to go to Uber, right? Go to DoorDash to to the lower end who can't find any job, and even some people with degrees they can't even find a job at Wally World, Ninja. They can't even find a job at Wally World, right? Jay says, "What do you think of people living in storage units?" Well, I think people have to do what they have to do, right? I think it's despicable that we stay in a basically a first world country that people are staying in storage units. I think it's pretty despicable, but that lets you know where we are, right? America's a first third world. America's a developed third world. That's it, right? And I've been preaching this to you guys for the past 2 years. I said, get all your stuff in order. Right? People have been sitting around here lollygagging. I told you to get certifications. I told you to get skills, right? So now we're in desperate times, right? Now we're in desperate times. Now you have no choice, right, but to rely on yourself. So now we're going to see the rise in, more sovereign, individuals, right? Most people are definitely going to be left behind, for sure. For sure. Most people are going to be left behind, but those that figure it out, they're going to become the sovereign individuals, the sovereign man, the sovereign, woman, right? I told you guys a long time ago, blockchain is here to stay, right? AI is here to stay. Automation is here to stay, right? There is no going back, right? A lot of these jobs that you guys see today, they're not coming back, right? And everybody's replaceable. Doctors are replaceable. Attorneys are replaceable, right? Mundane work is replaceable, right? Many white collar jobs are going to be completely wiped out, and they're never coming back. They're never coming back, right? You ninjas are cooked out here, ninja. So you better get to learning how to grow. Let me show you something. You better start learning how to grow some things. I got something over here cooking up right here. Got something cooking up over here. Got some basil. Got some basil leaves cooking up over here. Right? And I have some tomatoes. I have some tomatoes in the inside. I have some tomatoes in the inside that are just now sprouting up that I'm about to get ready to put in a pot and get some more stuff as well. But yeah. So EJ contradicting to tell people to up their skills, but AI is taking skill jobs, dude. Okay. Contradictory. So what I mean by skills, right? And well, first and foremost, context matter. So I did say that over the past 2 years, I've been saying get your skills up, right? Learn the things that the companies are teaching you so that you can take that knowledge, take that information and do for yourself and not rely on jobs, right? So when I talk about skills, right? There are certain jobs that are AI and automation proof for now, right? And many of those jobs and skill sets are in the trades, right? Many of those jobs and many of those skill sets are in the trades. So I specifically talk about trades, and I specifically talk about, entrepreneurship, right? So when I talk about skills, when I talk about trades, you know, uh, in particular, I'm telling you, now is the time that you're going to have to go into business for yourself, right? 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, I already talked about trades. I've already talked about, you know, uh, the skills that you should be going into, right? Amir says ownership is important, right? So that's what I mean. So if you think I'm contradicting myself, sorry, but that's what I really mean, right? People are too reliant on the nipple. People are too reliant on the nipple, right? They're too reliant on the corporate industrial complex. People got used to being paid uh, their paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, right? People got used to that. People got used to the government coming and saving them. People got used to food stamps. People got used to government housing. People got used to, subsidized housing. People got used to it, right? People got used to the government always coming. I mean, I don't know how people even thought that. The government never had it back. Listen, I remember in college. A ninja could barely put $5 in my gas tank, right? I remember working part-time at Pizza Hut, Ninja. I remember working part-time at Pizza Hut, and the only time I could put gas in my tank is when I went to go to work. And this is when I was in school. I remember applying for food stamps in college, right? And this is the time that I actually needed. I needed it, right? I needed the food stamps, especially in college, right? I got denied. I got denied food stamps in college for making too much money. I was like, Ninja, what? I make too much money? I was like, Ninja, I'm barely making $300 a week. I'm barely making $300 a week, and that's if people tipped. But I remember applying for food stamps, and they was like, nope, denied. Sorry, you make too much money. And I'm like, bruh, what? In the meantime, you got baby mamas out here with 50 million kids, right? No job, not doing anything, or even working part time, and they getting like $50 million in food stamps. I'm like, bruh, you can't make this up. I swear they picked and choose who they gave help to. But if you know the system, you'll know that many men, especially young men, they you don't you can't qualify unless you have a disability, right? They're not handing out men any kind of government anything, right? Because they look at you as young and able bodied, so they're not going to give you anything. I remember I was like, bruh, so how people around here, I'm like, how people around here getting food stamps and all of this stuff, and they work their part-time job, they got $1,001 on their food stamps card, and then they selling it. They selling the food stamps too. And I'm like, bruh, let me report somebody. I'm like, let me report somebody. And I'm like, and then that was the time that I actually needed help, right? If any time that I actually needed help from the government, from Daddy Gov, pause, no Diddy, it was during that time when I was actually struggling. I was in school trying to focus on my studies, right? Barely had enough money to put gas in my gas tank. Remember I had a 1999 ES, a Lexus ES 300, right? Lexus ES 300. That thing used to get stuck on the highway. The engine used to just go out right on the highway. I'm like, bruh, I was in struggle mode. I was in struggle mode, right? But yeah, if you're a man, you're on your own, right? If you're a man, you're on your own. And now it is about to show more than ever, right? Like I've been telling you guys for a whole year. Now it's about to show more than ever who's actually made of something. Who's actually made of something? A lot of guys are not prepared, man. A lot of guys are not prepared. A lot of men are not prepared. Men in America are far too far behind, right? These ninjas still at home, right? Sucking their mama titties at 30 years old, right? They're still at home sucking their mama titty at 30 years old, not doing anything, right? Still work at Wally World. I mean, I guess any job is better than no job at this point, but I mean, Ninja, Ninja still professional gooning, like Ninja stuck gooning, and that's all being done on purpose too, right? All of that has been done on purpose to get you addicted to the BS, to get you addicted to pornography, to get you addicted to the OF. Shouts out to Moore. Moore is in the building. What's going on? Tap and gang. Wow, because I see it well, but that's because I see my life being well and I'm focused on me. Yes, sir. Shouts out to Moy. Go over there and subscribe to Moy. Moy got a channel going on over there. If you haven't already, Googly says they're on a tick because the Big Daddy Gov made it that way for most. Yep. Shouts out to Moy. But yeah. And I see, let's see. Let's see. This is an interesting poll. I said, are Americans giving up on America? So 73% is yes right now. We're gonna keep the poll going. 73. Let's get these likes up too. 73% says yes, and 27, a quarter, says no. Well, the thing is, just read what Jay says. Jay says, bro, I got wrote up at my job this morning for some ish I did months ago that wasn't even my fault. It was the janitor fault because they were supposed to clean out a certain room in a hospital. Yeah. Listen, you better stay on your P's and Q's. Shouts out to Moy for the super chat. Said for the love of the game and nice to see Young in the building. Yes, sir. Yep. But this is the game now. So I got a question for you guys. What is the American dream to you at this point? John says Donald Trump will not save you. Listen, I'm done with Donald Duck, man. I'm done. I'm done with Trumpy Dumpy. I'm done with it. I supported it. I supported it at the beginning. Now it's a shit show. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I supported it. I supported it at the beginning. I mean, it was a better choice. It was a better choice out of no choice, right? But now at this point, it is a shit show. It's a whole shit show. Whatever he's claiming to try to fix in his short 4 years is he's not going to fix, right? He's basically already, eradicated any kind of friendships with other countries at this point, allies or not. I mean, those relationships probably are not even reconcilable at this point. You got Russia off the hinges. You have Israel. They have us in their back pocket, right? Bent over the bed frame. Pause. No Diddy. What else? Should I go on? You have hypocrisy after hypocrisy, lies after lies, clear as day lies that can clearly be researched and fact checked, like with a Google search. I mean, like I said, I supported it at the beginning because it was a choice out of no choices, right? It looked like the better choice. But at this point, yeah, Trumpy Dumpy, yeah, he needs to go. He's unhinged, right? Not professional, not a president, not a leader. Should I go on? I mean, he looks like a buffoon up there on the world stage. America is constantly looking like a country full of idiots. I mean, which I can vouch for. This is a country full of idiots, right? And I'll take it on the chin. I'll take it on the chin of me supporting Dumpy Trumpy, in the beginning. I'll take that to the chin. I'll take that. But as of now, no. As of now, no. As of now, he's just looking like a ploy. He's just looking like somebody that was intentionally put in to bring the downfall of America, which was going to happen probably whoever got in there anyway, but he's definitely speeding it up. Moy says, since 1984, every year I voted for myself. At this point, you got to vote for yourself. Happy to be here with you folks. America to me is me being the best I can be for everybody. Yep. Yeah, this ninja pardon NBA young boy. This ninja pardon what's his name? What's his name? Was it Larry Hoover ninja? This ninja pardon Larry Hoover. I'm like, Larry Hoover? You talking about big gangster? You talking about Big Meech? Not Big Meech. You talking about Big GD? Larry Hoover? What? I'm like, this ninja lost his mind. This ninja freed a whole gangster out here. I'm like, bro. Then he freed what was the two people name from the reality show? Who went to prison for tax fraud? They had the reality show. I forgot their name. They had the reality show. Somebody know it. Somebody know who I'm talking about. But he freed them for tax fraud. I'm like, bruh. He said he didn't pardon any inventors that got locked up for making free energy though. No, he didn't. He didn't pardon anybody that mattered. Shouts out to Maury for the super chat. He didn't pardon anybody that mattered, right? The couple. I forgot their name. Y'all didn't put it in here. The white couple. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Who had the reality show? Was it a cooking show or something? Whatever they name it. They had a reality show, and they went to prison for tax fraud, right? So this ninja pardoning whole criminals. The Chrissy family, exactly. The Chrissy family. Appreciate that, lottery guru. So this ninja freeing I mean, he's pardoning criminals. He's pardoning criminals, right? Not people who possibly could be in prison for a wrongful arrest or an unfair trial, who couldn't afford an actual attorney, the DNA doesn't match or anything. This ninja pardoning the young boy, the king of YNs, ninja. What? The king of YNs, he pardoning young boy, and then pardoning the Chrissy family, which they went down for tax fraud, proven to be involved in tax fraud in the federal courts. Then this ninja went on to pardon Larry Hoover, a whole gangster out here who's probably responsible for probably more murders than we can count for, or that can even be solved. Ninja, I'm like, bro, you can't, bro. America has turned into a whole fucking reality show, bro. JC, what's going on? Cartier says we in a simulation, bro. You cannot make this up. He's literally pardoning whole criminals. But I guess it makes sense. I guess it makes sense. Right? Felons, no felons. Felons, no felons. I guess. But these people have no actual, no substance to really give society, right? No substance to actually give society. But yeah, free them. Free whole convicted criminals, I guess. Don't free anybody who probably had an impartial trial, or you know what I'm saying, right? Who may not have been actually guilty, right? There's some mishaps in what the persecution, presented, right? People who've been trying to get their been trying to get retried because of lack of evidence. John says Tory Lanez at least. Well, he got convicted in California state, I believe. Was he? I don't think he was a federal. I don't think that was a federal case. So president can only pardon federal crimes, federal cases. right? He doesn't have jurisdiction over the state, right? But yeah, this is where we in. Like I said, I supported Trumpy Dumpy at the beginning, but now it's just absolute nonsense. Now it's absolute diabolical idiocracy at this point. And for anybody to still support Trump at this point, I mean, you're an idiot. I gave him the benefit of the doubt at the beginning. I mean, even the beginning was on shaky grounds because I'm like, I mean, first of all, the dude shouldn't even been able to run, being convicted in court by his peers. I mean, whether you want to say it's a fake trial, not fake trial, or they was coming after him or whatever. Ninja, how many ninjas have been to prison, been locked up because they didn't have a fair trial, ninja? So what? You know how many ninjas over the decades been locked up and persecuted, couldn't afford an attorney, ninja, and went down for 15, 20 years. Yeah, welcome to America, ninja. Welcome to America. This has been going on for as long as America has been in here, ninja. People have gotten unfair trials. People have been convicted by insufficient evidence, all kinds of stuff. What makes Trump any different, ninja? So he has been he already started on shaky grounds. He has been convicted by in a trial full of his peers, right? In a trial full of his peers, right? So he's a convicted felon. On paper, he's a convicted felon. He shouldn't have been able to run, right? So that was already red flag number one, right? Then the rest is fucking history, right? You try to you try to give him the benefit of the doubt, after the fact. Well, maybe these folks are trying to come after him. Maybe they are trying to, put a stop to democracy, whatever democracy we have left. This is not a democracy anymore. This is a plutocracy, ninja. This is a plutocracy. There's a land ran by the rich and wealthy and the ones who have the money. The ones who have the money have to say so. This is not a democracy. So people are walking around here yelling democracy. Democracy left out a door before I was even born, ninja. Before I was even born, right? This is not a democracy. Y'all still think it's a democracy? No, it's not a democracy, right? Elon Musk showed you that. Elon showed you that it's not a democracy. And y'all still think the election wasn't bought? Shit. Shit. And I'm not saying the liberals are any better. I'm not saying the liberals are better. I'm not saying the Republicans are better. It's really F both sides, right? Right? Two wings to the same bird. There's no difference. There's really no difference to any one of them, right? There's no difference. There's no difference for any one of them, right? No difference. Both of them don't have standards, right? The left and the right, they don't have standards. They really don't have any values. They really don't stand for anything. They're really both of them are still in tax money, right? Everybody's taking money off the top, no matter who's in office. Yeah, go ahead and super chat because I'm spitting game to y'all. Hit that like button, right? We have 70 people in here. Hit that like button. Hit the super chat. This is going up on a replay. I'm gonna even chop this video down and make it into a actual video. But yeah, y'all keep walking around here thinking that, oh, well, Kamala should have got in office. No, the hell she shouldn't have. Kamala shouldn't have been in there either. No, sir, no sirski. Just because I say Trump shouldn't have been in there, don't mean Kamala ass should have been in there. No sirski. Nope. She should have been as far from the office as possible, ninja. As far from the office as possible, ninja. Her ass shouldn't have been in there either. She shouldn't have been nowhere near office. And neither is Trump. Trump shouldn't have been in office either. As a matter of fact, Trump should have been in jail, but you know, people still relying on the government. Oh, maybe we should just vote Republican. Maybe we should just vote Democrat, right? That'll solve all of our issues. Yeah, okay, Ninja. People are so behind, man. It's crazy how far Americans are behind, man. How is it? How is it that a communist state, right, which I'm, referring to China, how is it that a communist regime is able to innovate faster and more efficient and more accurate than a so-called free society? Can somebody give it? I really want somebody to answer that question for me. How is it that a so-called communist regime, right, is able to produce and innovate on a higher level than a so-called than a so-called free society, than a so-called capitalistic, free society? How is that possible? How is that possible? Can anybody answer that? I'm really wondering. Because if we actually stayed in a so-called free society, right, we should be doing much better than we are as a society, right? But we're not.